Hello, this is a short little video to review the concepts that we have been learning in our language arts program. The first for the first unit, the first week in the first unit. So you can see here. Did you learn anything this week? That's the title of my slide. These are the things that we talked about. We talked about character. We talked about setting. We talked about plot. We talked about synonyms, context clues, questioning, spelling. We talked specifically about short vowel sounds, prefixes, and statements. So, I have this little nifty activity here to see if you guys know these concepts. So first of all, let's talk about character. I'm just reminding you what each of these mean before we take the little assessment that we have tomorrow. Um, First of all, character. Characters are the people or the it can be animals, it can be a lot of different things. The main person or thing that the story is talking about when you're reading a story. There are main characters and there are also static characters, which are minor characters that kind of take their part is kind of the background. So let's say that we know what characters are. So we're going to stick that in the character box. Um, Setting. Setting is where the story takes place. We read the story First Day Jitters this week, and in that story, um, Sarah Jane Hartwell, it takes place in her home and also at the school. So there's actually two settings in that story. Many stories only have one setting, and lots of others have many settings. So I think we pretty much know what setting is. So let's put it in the box. How about plot? Do you know what plot is? The plot is what the story's about, basically. What the main character learns at the end of the story. We learned in First Day Jitters that new things can be scary, and that when you're starting them out, it isn't the best. It isn't the most fun. But once you get into it and you get to where you want, where you need to be, you feel comfortable after you've been there for a little while. In the case of Sarah Jane Hartwell, she's the teacher, and she's a new teacher, and she doesn't want to go to her new class. She's a little bit scared, and she learns once she gets there that things are going to be okay. So I'm going to put plot back here in the box. We also talked about synonyms. Remember that the S in synonym stands for same. So you can see S in synonym and the S in same. It means the same word. For example, let's throw one out here. Give me a synonym for big. Well, if you said a word like giant or some of those other ones, there's lots of other ones for big. You would be right. So, just remember that synonyms mean a word that means about the same thing. So let me get rid of these example words and clear my annotations off. And we are going to put that in the box since we know it. We also talked about questions. Do you guys know what the difference between a question is? And do you know what goes at the end of a sentence that is a question? Yeah, if you said the big old question mark, you'd be right. Questions have question marks at the end. And, we talked a whole lot about identifying sentences, and if it's a question and if it's a statement. So remember that that's going to be on the test. So let's put that in the box too. We talked about statements. Statements are things that are just, you say it like, I'm going to school, Mom. That's a statement. If you ask, can I go to the movie? Remember, we talked about questions. If you say, can I go to the movie? That means that that's a question. But a statement is, I went to the movie. That's a statement. and it has a period at the end of the sentence. So let's identify a period. Not that, that's a carrot. here's a period. And those go at the end of statements. So we'll get rid of that. We know what a statement is now. Context clues. A context clue is when you read a sentence and you may run into a word that you don't know. Yesterday we looked at a sentence that had the word novice in it, and not very many students knew what novice was. But if you read the sentence, it said that, I think the sentence said, Tim is very new to swimming. He is a novice. And so from the context clues you learned, okay, he's new at swimming, so novice means that you're new at something, that you're not very experienced at it yet. So using context clues is a very, very important skill that we will be talking about more and more as we go along throughout the year. But context clues, just remember, if you read a sentence, you don't know what a word is, use the clues around you. Use your magnifying glass. I'm going to pull up my magnifying glass here just because I can. So it's right there. So you're going to use the clues to identify what the word means. So there you go. Prefixes. These are the beginning of words. We have suffixes at the end of the word. We have prefixes at the beginning. A prefix, for example, is, well, we can look at the word prefix, and it has PRE at the very beginning of the word. PRE is a prefix. If I was to put PREVIEW, we can see that we have the word pre, which is the prefix, and we have VIEW, which is view, which is the root word. And that, changes the meaning of the word a lot of the time when we have a prefix. Pre when you add pre to words, it means that you're going to look at something. Well, the whole word itself means you're going to look at something before it's let out to everybody else. So preview. Pre means before. So anyway, let's get rid of this one. Goodbye. So we know prefixes now. Now the spelling words, I hope that you have been studying your spelling words this week, because spelling is one of those things in class we can look at it, and we can look at it, and we can look at it here in class, but if you don't do those things at home, it's really hard when it comes to the spelling test to take those tests. So I hope that you've studied your spelling word. We have been talking about vowel sounds, short vowel sounds, the A, E, I, O, U sounds and the short sounds that they have. So if you've studied your spelling words this week, those 15 words, you're going to do just fine. If you haven't studied them, well, you may have some trouble. So hopefully you studied. I studied my spelling words, so I'm putting it in the box. Well, that is the end of our review right now. If you have any questions, please ask them. And I hope that you have studied this week and you know what's going on. Good luck on the test.